Welcome back, pro wrestling fans. Welcome back, IWC. It's your old buddy, the Guardian of Chaos, Big Daddy, coming to you live to tape. Wait. I haven't done this in a few episodes. I am live today on October 18th. But I'm taping it as well. Fuck it. You guys get the idea. Live to tape from Chaos Corner for this day in pro wrestling history, October 18th. I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. Coming to you 25 feet below the surface of the earth. I can't thank you fans enough for being here and all the insanity that's going on in today's world in 2023. I hope that I can bring you some levity and some stress relief as you guys do for me here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Fans, we have a lot of news and information and history to go over here today on Chaos Corner. I can't thank you enough from the bottom of my heart for being here. Let's acknowledge our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is coming back soon. Don't be caught dead without him. Let's get on to all the history today on October 18th. Go back and check out the last few days. We're going to attempt to do this date in pro wrestling history. We'll be up here either daily or weekly to provide you, the fans, with the best content in the IWC. Because it's me, it's the GOC. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog. No Patreon, no paywalls, no super chats. What you see is what you get. And of course, the mothership here on the YouTube channel Guardian of Chaos, on X in real time at Big Daddy GOC, and the GOC stands for the Guardian of Chaos. On Instagram, it's the Guardian of Chaos, and pretty soon I'll be live on Rumble, Guardian of Chaos. 2 accounts on Facebook, you know what they are, Jay Brony, that's right, Jay Brony, and Prodigio Fidelis El Guardian. Come on back. We're jumping off all the other social media platforms. Meet me back here on Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel, the network, if you will. We're coming up. We're this close to 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, with coming up on almost 400,000 total views on this channel, where there's almost 2,500 videos, everything from history to current events and news in the pro wrestling world, and of course my illustrious 30-plus career, and of course my research, my due diligence as over a 50-year pro wrestling fan. That's right, a SMARC, a researcher, a historian, a performer, a talent, if you will, a mark. That's right, I said it, a mark. Let's get right down to brass tacks. And again, thank you guys for being here. October 18th, 1963. Worldwide Wrestling Federation champion Bruno Sammartino defeats the Crusher using a backbreaker. That's right, a simple backbreaker to defeat the Crusher in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania for the world title. Well, he was defending the world title, but you guys understand what I'm talking about. Special guest referee was the legendary boxer Jersey Joe Wolcott. And that just goes to show you, whether it was Antonio Inoki and Muhammad Ali, Gorilla Monsoon and Ali, Chuck Wepner and Andre the Giant, you could see the history of the great boxing legends that have been involved all the way back before your time, not my time, in the world of pro wrestling. And there's many more examples, including most recently, we have Logan Paul. I'm not sure if he's a boxer involved in the WWE, where we even had Floyd Mayweather back not that long ago against The Big Show. So the lineage of pro wrestling and pro boxing certainly goes back a long way. So that was 1963. What a great year 1963 was. 1963, Mid-Atlantic Wrestling from the Richmond, Virginia Coliseum. Here's the results. Cowboy Bob Ellis and Johnny Weaver defeat Rip Hawk and Swede Hansen by disqualification. Kurt and Carl Von Bronner over Al and Ramon Torres. Joe Scarpa, the future Chief Jay Strongbow, defeats Tony Romano. Frank Valos beats Gene Anderson, and Johnny Walker versus Joe Tommaso was to a time limit draw. We fast forward to October 18th, 1966. Mid-Atlantic Wrestling in Raleigh, North Carolina. Battle of the Bullies is what this was billed as Boris Malenko in the Missouri Mauler beat Aldo Bonia and Bronco Lubitsch. Now, you fans know Bronco Lubitsch went on to be a world-class referee down in Texas for World-Class Championship Wrestling. The Red Demons defeated Abe Jacobs and Jesse James on that same card in 1966. 1968 will stay in the Mid-Atlantic regions at the State Fairgrounds in Richmond, Virginia. Paul Jones and Nelson Royal defeat Rip Hawk and Swede Hansen in a 2 out of 3 falls bout. Aldo Bonia and Bronco Lubitsch defeat Billy and Jimmy Hines. And Sam Steamboat went over on Bob Ramstead. 1968. You guys know the old story back in 06, 07, when I was managing the Outcast Killers, Oman Tortuga, and Diablo Santiago. We were going for the NWA World Tag Team titles against Team 3D, a.k.a. the Dudleys, Bully Ray, Bubba Ray, and Devon. You guys remember the story. Now the current host of Busted Open Radio, or co-host of Bully Ray, he said to me back during those series of tables matches, and I take this as a compliment, because we had some great matches. The matches are here on the channel, the full bouts. Bully, a.k.a. Bubba, said, give the Guardian of Chaos 5 spots and he'll fuck up 4 of them. I'm proud of that. As the most notorious madman professional wrestling manager in independent history. And that's the facts. 1977, let's fast forward in the time machine. October 18th, 1977, this day in pro wrestling history. WWF TV tapings in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Then world champion superstar Billy Graham attacked the High Chief Peter Maivia before a scheduled bout versus Baron Mikhail Cicluna. Now Graham, world champion at the time, broke the traditional ukulele from the Paramount High Chief, the number 1 oos in starting the bloodline. Pehaoi melihini kane pupule wiki wiki. Mahalo and aloha. And left the Paramount High Chief a bloody mess. This is all on the channel, all on the network. 1977. Superstar Billy Graham and High Chief Peter Maivia. The ukulele was something back in the day, if you guys know your history. I'm not that good at recreating the ukulele, but stick with me here. As we move on, October 18th, pro wrestling history. 1978, from Utsunomiya, Japan. Konnichiwa, bitches. All my friends over there on the Pac Rim, I hope you're staying safe. Abdullah the Butcher defeats Billy Robinson to win the Pacific Wrestling Federation World Heavyweight title, which is now and have been absorbed into now the All Japan Triple Crown. Let that sink in. From 1978, when it was originally the All Japan Triple Crown, which is huge right now over there in Japan, was the Pacific Wrestling Federation. For a little bit of history. Let's jump back into the time machine. October 18th, 1980, the Worldwide Wrestling Federation from Rochester, New York. Here in the Northeast, Greater New England tri-state area, in the shadows of Titan Towers here at Chaos Corner. Here's the card. Angel Marvia over the unpredictable Johnny Rodz. One legit badass is Johnny Rodz. And if you ever get a chance to go down to Gleason's, the legendary Gleason's in New York, in the city, you wouldn't believe it. I've been there myself in the past. Johnny Rodz, in the day of the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, basically was Vince's enforcer in the ring. If you can get by Johnny Rodz, then maybe you had a chance in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation. True stories. The Hangman pinned Quick Draw Rick McGraw. Tony Garea over Larry Zbyszko by a disqualification. Zbyszko used the chokehold to be disqualified. So much different than here in 2023 and the different rules and how simplicity, how less is more. All the false finishes and kickouts from everybody's moves in this day and age, in this current industry. Everybody has to get their spot and hit their moves. No rhyme, no reason, no emotional investment, no ring psychology, no storytelling. I'm just giving you my opinion, where I'm coming from. And if you don't like it, like I always say, not to my fans, then change the fucking channel. And I don't have to cuss. I apologize for that. Also on that same card, Sergeant Slaughter pinned Dominic DeNucci. Pedro Morales, the Latin sensation, defeated the Worldwide Wrestling Federation Intercontinental Champion Ken Patera by countout. And of course, you know that the title didn't change hands on a countout back in the day, or disqualification. We fast forward to 1982, October 18th. Simon Gotch was born today. Happy birthday, Simon Gotch, who's a current star in the world of professional wrestling. Very technically sound is Simon Gotch. 1982, October 18th, as I said. El Hijo del Santo. That's right, El Hijo del Santo, son of the legend El Santo, makes his debut wearing the famous silver mask. No offense, man, it's a word, kayfabe. Talk about history of Lucha Libre. El Hijo del Santo and El Santo and that silver mask. Fans, I believe Silver Mask was in the movie Nacho Libre with Jack Black. But no offense, Mancini. I know a lot of people say that Jack Black and Nacho Libre looks a lot like current Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling owner Mario Mancini, who was in the WWF from 84 to 92. Mancini, it's a kayfabe, it's a work. 1983, live pro wrestling in the Pacific Northwest from Portland, Oregon. Here's the card. You'll recognize a lot of these names that went on to World Wrestling Federation fame, WCW, NWA. Billy Jack over Scott Ferris. Alberto Madril and Kurt Hennig fought to a time limit draw. That's right, the future Mr. Perfect. The Assassin and the Dynamite Kid defeated Brian Adidas and Jules Strongbow. Rip Oliver over Ali Hassan. An NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Harley Race, beats Playboy Buddy Rose. Not 280 pounds, Buddy Rose, 218 pounds. Nostalgia just ain't what it used to be. We continue on this day in pro wrestling history, October 18th, 1983, Georgia Championship Wrestling from Canton, Ohio. Ronnie Garvin over Bob Roop. Jake Roberts, not the Snake yet, Jake Roberts beats Joe Lightfoot. Mr. Wrestling 2, Tim Woods over Bob Roop, who went on to be Mucka Singh, part of Kevin Sullivan's Dungeon of Doom, or whatever it was in Florida, with Maniac Mark Lewin, the Purple Haze, and Woman, and so on and so forth. Quite the history there as they battled Dusty Rhodes down in Florida Championship Wrestling back in the day. You see Bob Roop did double duty that night. Pistol Pez Watley defeated Paul Ellering. Tommy Rich and Brett Wayne defeat the National Tag Team Champions, Animal and Hawk, the Road Warriors, by disqualification. Talk about results. We go to October 18th, 1984. World Wrestling Federation from the Capitol Center in Landover, Maryland. In a unique, rather odd matchup in the main event, Andre the Giant and the JYD, the Junkyard Dog, defeated Kamala and Big John Studd. Talk about a mismatch as far as tag team partners. One heck of a main event, and you know the real life heat between Andre and Big John Studd. If you don't, do your research. October 18th, 1988, Stampede Wrestling in Alberta, Canada. The Great Gama defeats Steve Blackman. Volkan Singh defeated Leo Burke. Chris Benoit, Bruce Hart, and Lance Idol in a six-man tag team match over the Cuban Assassin, Jerry Morrow, and Johnny Smith. That's right, six-man tag. None of this bullshit that goes on today. A trios match, a trios titles. What the fuck are we doing here? Trios? Can we call it a traditional six-man tag team match? I'm just saying. I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly here on the channel. 1995, this day, October 18th, 1995, Toni Storm is born. That's right, a storm is coming. And boy, is Toni Storm an incredible grappler in the female division. She really is something, Toni Storm. She has taken the pro wrestling world by storm, whether it was NXT, WWE, now in AEW. And now that she does the whole movie classic picture thing, 1995, Toni Storm was born on this day. You guys want me to? We have a few folks down here in the bunker. All right, Toni, this is for you. Happy birthday, Toni Storm. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Toni Storm. And I'm a big fan too. Happy birthday to you. Enjoy the day, Toni. Maybe we'll see you on AEW Dynamite tonight. Fast forward October 18th in the time machine, 1997, from ECW in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The FBI, made up of that point, with Little Guido and Tracy Smothers. Now we know they had Nunzio, a.k.a. Little Guido, Tony Mamaluke, the giant Primo Carnera, a.k.a. Mike Fury, a.k.a. Big Guido, obviously. And of course, there was many other factions. Even Tommy Rich at one point joined the FBI. So it was a Big Sal E. Graziano. The FBI, the full-blooded Italians back in the day, had quite the faction. They defeat John Kronus and New Jack for the ECW Tag Team titles. 1997, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Great Sasuke over Al Snow. We all know everybody wants head, and including Al Snow, who's running OVW right now. And again, the reality show with Al Snow and OVW currently on cable right now, it really is a tremendous series. I've said it in the last couple of days, and I'll continue to say it. Balls Mahoney, balls, no offense, and Axel Rotten beat the Dudleys. How about that for a big win over the Dudley Boys? In a three-way bout, Sabu defeats Shane Douglas and Tommy Dreamer, who's currently co-host Busted Open Radio. As I read most of these names, I've worked with so many of these guys and been on the same event of so many of these guys. I couldn't be more humbled, blessed, honored, and grateful for those talent and current wrestlers that allowed and agreed to let me work with them. Because without them, no matter what I brought to the table, a winner, a champion, the most notorious, as I said, it was up to them to allow me to work with them. So I can't thank you guys more than enough, whether it be Sabu, Shane Douglas, Tommy Dreamer, Balls Mahoney. There's a lot of different guys, New Jack and on down the road, that I've talked about here. Let's continue on this day in pro wrestling history. I hope you guys are enjoying this series, because I'm having a lot of fun bringing it to you. October 18th, 1998, the WWF holds its first Judgment Day pay-per-view from the Rosemont Horizon in Chicago, Illinois. Steve Blackman over Bradshaw, the future JBL from the Acolytes. The Oddities over Los Boricuas in a six-man tag team match. The Godfather defeats Farouk, a.k.a. Ron Simmons. Too Cold Scorpio over Old Slapnuts, Jeff Jarrett, who's still current in today's business. Give Double J a lot of credit. The last outlaw, whatever he calls himself. Karen Angle's pretty easy on the eyes as well. Oh, wait. Karen Jarrett, man. I'm Karen Jarrett. Al Snow over Mark Mero, a.k.a. Johnny B. Bad. LOD 2000. And boy, did the Road Warriors screw up going to the WWE. Am I right? I'm just saying. Compared to how they were in the AWA and Georgia and NWA, WCW over in Japan, I mean, let's get serious here as far as the legacy of the Road Warriors. So LOD 2000, Hawk and Animal with Droz. R.I.P. Droz, one heck of a guy. Unfortunate incident in the ring with D'Lo Brown. Over the Disciples of Apocalypse and Pretty Paul Ellering. How odd and rare and strange was that Paul Ellering was the manager of the Road Warriors, and then here in the six-man tag team match is persona non grata, we'll say. The Headbangers by disqualification over the New Age Outlaws. And if you're not down with that, we got two words for you. I'm not going to give them the publicity and press. You guys know what it is, right? It's kind of immature and childish in this day and age to see people like The Acclaimed and all them still using that bullshit. Just my opinion. Again, if you don't like it, click change the channel. The Intercontinental Champion, the most dangerous man in the world, Ken Shamrock, defeats Mankind, a.k.a. Mick Foley, a.k.a. Dude Love, a.k.a. Cactus Jack, via the knockout. That's right, the old knockout. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Head on a swivel. Be aware. Situational awareness in today's day and age. Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, over then Rocky Maivia. That's right, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Remember the time frame, October 18th, 2023. We're back on October 18th in 1998. The Undertaker, who just recently came back on NXT as the American Badass to give the rub to Braun Breaker, a.k.a. Steiner. Undertaker versus Kane. Glenn Jacobs, who's now quite the representative down there in Tennessee in the volunteer state. Give Glenn Jacobs, a.k.a. Kane, a lot of credit for what he's doing right now. For the WWF title, ends in a no contest. Both grapplers, both behemoths, both monsters had their shoulders pinned to the mat at the same time. So the special guest referee title held up the title. And who was the special guest referee that night? 1998 for the first Judgment Day pay-per-view for this main event. Undertaker and Kane. Who was the special guest ref? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Hello? McFly? Stone Cold Steve Austin was the special guest referee that held up the title that night. Fast forward to October 18th, 1999, and the Monday Night Wars, which you know I have talked about over the last several months here, the last couple of years, about the ratings compared to today's business and when they had the Wednesday Night Wars between Dynamite and NXT and so on and so forth. Let this sink in as the WWF, WWE, because they took the F out, I believe, by now in 1999. If I got my facts correct. Raw had a 5.5 rating on the USA Network. Think about that. A 5.5. WCW on TNT only had a 3.3 rating, but that current number doubles and in triples in some cases of what today's current product was. Think about that, fans. Think about that, IWC, when it comes to ratings, and you guys are all concerned and talk about the ratings. Take your head out of your ass and go back and do your research. No offense, man. October 16th, you can refer to my Bully Ray comment. October 18th, 2010. The WWE, talk about politics, and we'll get into it now. We know I like to keep that off of this channel because we don't need anything with the current bullshit that's going on in this country, and then, of course, across the world, where my thoughts and prayers for everybody suffering out there across humanity, no matter what religion, what color, what culture you're from. Prayers from the GOC and Chaos Corner for everyone across the world. And that's a shoe when I say that. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Let's be righteous, be the best that you can. Learn the facts before you open your mouth. Stay vigilant. But that's another story for another time. Again, 2010, October 18th, the WWE launches Stand Up for the WWE. Yeah. How you feeling about that, Vince, and all your shareholders and Endeavor and everything else? And I'm just telling the facts, nothing that's not out there, the public information that you can't find out for yourself, and what we've known to come out to be true now about everything that's going on with the WWE and Vince. The campaign asks for fans to defend inaccurate things said about the company in an apparent attempt to get fans to support Linda McMahon's bid to become senator in the state of Connecticut, in the shadows of Titan Towers. Do you guys remember this in 2010? I mean, I get that it's 13, almost 14 years ago, Linda for Senate, and then this press release telling the fans to defend the WWE and bad things that are said about it. Look at today's current product and what all the garbage on social media, especially Twitter, aka X, where everybody bashes everything, every different company, and it's tribalism, and I don't even like that word, and all the craziness, and all the butthurt virgins and geeks and dweebs and cellar dwellers and whatever name you want to call these fans that get involved in it. It's not directed at you guys. It's directed at the people that get involved in this nasty bullshit that goes on. And again, I apologize for cussing in today's 2023 status of pro wrestling fans, especially in social media. So 2010, and we'll wrap things up here on this day in pro wrestling history. October 18th, 2011, TNA's Impact Wrestling appoints Bruce Pritchard and announces that he has been hired as the Senior Vice President of Programming and Talent Relations. And if you remember at the time, TNA was on Spike TV as their highest rated program. TNA Impact back in 2011 getting higher rankings than the current program, current product today. So you see how everyone bounces back and forth, stays in the business, continues to get front office jobs, all these different folks. And the people that lose out and get screwed over are the talent, the guys and the gals, the performers who sacrifice their body and their families every single day in this business. Not like it was back in the day. You know, now if you wrestle a handful of times a month, unless you're on the indies where these guys are kicking ass, back then you're wrestling 250, 350 times a year. So before you start bashing people that are traditionalists and acknowledge history and go back in this business, and you want to say they're bitter old talent and all that, go back and do your research and due diligence on what the business was really all about as compared to this last decades, maybe even a little longer than that. That's just my opinion, because you know I'll say that to say this, because I tell it like it is. Don't you dare miss it. I'll be back tomorrow for this day in pro wrestling history. So hold on. I'm not going anywhere yet. Give me a minute. Can I hydrate for you guys? Right? Can I? Stand by. It's always entertaining here at the end of the show. Got my hydration boost. Getting ready to go to the gym and get it in, so to speak. Can't beat that. It's like a sore dick. You can't beat it. I didn't mean that, man. I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to say that. Sometimes this is a kid's show, although according to my demographics, and we have my analytics show coming up very soon, most of my audience is well over 21 plus. So before anyone gets crazy, I won't let my granddaughter and anything watch this episode, or I'll make sure that fuck it, I'm not editing anything. Thank you guys for being here. Enjoy, like, share. Pretty soon, courtesy of PWZ and the Professor Rick Del Santo coming up in a few short weeks. Not only will I be approaching the Big 6-0, I will also be debuting on WON Sports. Let that sink in. Come on back to Guardian of Chaos, the YouTube channel. Don't you dare miss it.